Hello, folks. Welcome to Between Awesome and Disaster. This is your host, Will Carey. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you tuning in on Labor Day. I hope that you are enjoying the official last day of summer. And I guess if you're wearing white, really soaking it in. And September. It is September, and I cannot. I'm constantly having that feeling of I can't believe this year has gone by as fast as it has, but it has. It's been a very full week for me here, concert-wise. My wife and I on Tuesday went to the Beacon Theater and saw Passenger, and if you are listening to this and you're only familiar with Let Her Go, that one song, his catalog has so much depth and quality that I think transcends the one big hit. And he puts on incredibly entertaining and a wonderful show as just a solo acoustic act. So really enjoyed that show. And the Beacon is such a beautiful space. And then just last night, on Thursday, August 29th, when I'm recording this the day after, big group of with my wife and our friends, we went to Madison Square Garden and saw Incubus, one of my favorite bands from the 90s, play my favorite album of theirs, Morning View, front to back, as well as have Coheed and Cambria, who I've never seen before, live open. So that was a really incredible show. Huge at Madison Square Garden, way up in the rafters, but absolutely captured the entire essence of the concert. Absolutely spectacular time. A lot of big lots of my big 90s albums are being toured in full this concert season. So it's been very fun. And very fun shows have been happening with Skiplag, my new band. We recently played the Shillelagh Tavern with this great group called On Hiatus from Des Moines, Iowa, who which pulls into our episode for today, because my guest on the show is Tom Rose, the lead vocalist and bass player of On Hiatus, who we played with on their most recent tour when they came through New York City. Tom and I had never met before, hadn't really talked much outside of like general, we're doing a show kind of chit chat. And this was our first time sitting down, having a real a long conversation. And I was, of course, very curious about what being a pop punk band in Des Moines, Iowa in 2024 is like. Are other people doing it? So we get into a lot of this, as well as a lot of real life stuff that happened around the creation of the band's last album, as well as their most recent EP, which is out now everywhere you get your music. It is called One More Day by On Hiatus. It's a great pop punk EP, and if this is indicative of what's happening in Iowa right now, there are some very cool shows happening, and at a time where big ticket concerts are more expensive than they've been in my lifetime. Excellent opportunity to go out and support your up and coming bands when they're still trying to get their footing, get those first 100 fans or so. So excellent time to check out the local scene in Des Moines, from what I learned talking to Tom. And you guys are going to learn about it now, because we're going to go to my chat with Tom Rose, bassist and vocalist of On Hiatus. I don't really consider myself like an interviewer, because to me, I think we're just kind of like talking it up, like discussing the minutia of what we do. Have you ever listened to, like, I don't know, somebody interview like a band you really like, and it seems like the person that they're talking to has no idea about music or even their music or any kind of real interest in it? Like, they're just kind of like, where do you get your ideas from?
Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about? What are you or they don't know anything about like the artist they're talking to even. So you're like, oh, what an amazing interview.
Right. I always think of one of my favorite moments of that is back on the old Larry King show when he's interviewing Jerry Seinfeld, and they're talking about the B movie, which was new at the time, and he's just like, "No, you haven't done much else other than this." And then Jerry just goes, "Larry, do you know who I am?" That's like the one situation where I feel like saying, "Do you know who I am?" and is an appropriate response.
Oh yeah, I think in the same interview he was like, "What was it like to be taken off the air?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I quit.
I quit because I didn't want to do the extras the 10th season. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that interview is hilarious. I haven't watched it all the way through, but the clips I've seen are phenomenal.
Oh my God, yeah. And the other thing that sort of like, and this is part of my problem with like society as a whole right now, is that the algorithm, I think, rewards conflict more than sincerity. If that makes any sense, like if you
totally.
if you have an interview that just goes completely off the rails and gets like super confrontational, that's gonna get, those clips will get a lot of views compared to like the more thoughtful ones now in 2024. That's what grinds my gears, Tom.
Yeah, let's fight really quick so we have something to clip.
Exactly right. Just knock out a quick 30-second. Like, okay, so when did you realize that you are not punk at all?
Probably when I was in New York.
Oh yeah, you got something to say about New York? Oh
my God, what an absolutely amazing city.
Right, yeah, as great as Des Moines with all of that, and Iowa with all of the corn.
Oh yes. There was more rats than corn in Iowa.
and then that's the clip that gets us viral.
Right.
But in all seriousness, I do want to ask you, how did the rest of tour go? Because your band On Hiatus, my band Skip Lag, we were super psyched to get to play with you when you stopped by New York. How'd the rest of tour go?
Not too bad. We just had 2 more nights after that, and it was Pittsburgh, which was really cool. I got the cops called on me for standing outside of the bar. That was fun.
What'd you do?
Nothing. I literally was just standing there talking with one of the other bandmates from Lamp, and this guy called because we were loitering. And I'm just like, dude, you could have just asked me to move, man. Why? You didn't have to make a whole scene. But
oh my God,
that was fun.
Yeah, that's a great example of misuse of resources.
Oh, absolutely. Even the cops are like, I don't know what we're doing here. Have a good night, dude. I was like, I'll just go back inside then.
Yeah, I'll continue. I'll be in an establishment instead of in public, because it's such an issue for me to exist right now.
Yeah, it was so goofy.
Where'd you play in Pittsburgh?
Oh no, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Shoot, I don't remember. Oh, I could probably find it.
Oh, it's
really
all good. Well, while you're checking, because I've heard, I've heard so many like cool things about Pittsburgh's punk scene, and one of my former favorite bands before we learned some unfortunate truths comes out of that scene. So I have always kind of viewed Pittsburgh as like, oh, that would be a cool place to go. I bet there's people who like punk rock in Pittsburgh.
I mean, it was really dope. We got to play with like this I think it was like a 9 or an 8-piece ska punk band, and that was weird but dope.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome.
It was the Poetry Lounge.
Oh, that's very, very cool. That's a cool spot. So could the whole band fit on the stage, or did some people have to, like, the horn players have to play in the crowd?
The horns were on the floor and everyone else was on the stage, but those horns were loud. I was in awe the whole time. I was like, man, they didn't even mic those guys. You can barely hear the drums.
Oh, that's amazing. I always love when you can just really crank out without having to like do all the like proper live concert stuff. That's awesome.
And I do want to at least name drop them. They were called the Book Club.
The book club at the Poetry Lounge. That makes sense.
I know, it's ironic.
Yeah, that's kind of perfect. All we needed was like a really like one of those bands that does like 30-second hardcore songs. Just needed one of those called the Dewey Decimal System, and then that would have been like the most perfect night.
You know, I just thought of it. It's almost like it's poetry. Oh man, that's so funny.
I live for that kind of stuff, dude. Like when I do sound check, I go check 1 2, Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, check please, just because I find that it grabs people's attention if you're just
yeah it's funny. I do checkmate because here a lot of people would yell checkmate back at you, so you're like, let's beat them to it.
Oh, is that an actual chess thing, or is that like a local sports thing? I don't know.
No, it's just I don't know. It just happens in our scene where people yell checkmate if you don't say it first. I don't know where it started. It just kind of happened. So it's like, all right, let's beat them.
Oh, that's funny. Well, now I know when we come to play Des Moines, eventually I know how to ingratiate myself. So how did you guys like self book that tour? How did you put this tour together for the new EP?
Yeah, mostly. Our guitarist Jared does almost all of our booking. I do a little bit, but not as much as him. He basically is like the dude who runs the underground scene here. And every time a band comes through, he'll book them, and we're very honest about Des Moines. It's shoddy. Because it's punk. What do you know from Des Moines, Iowa? You know Slipknot. So, you know,
yeah, that's all I got.
Not many punk bands, you know, and but because he's an amazing human being, people love him and do him some favors when he needs it. And so he just was like, hey, where can I book a show to get to New York? And they just threw him some dates and locations, and we made it through on pure luck.
Well, that's what I love about our scene, is that there is this sort of like community that if you like, I have a goal, how do I fill into that goal? And they're like, oh, well, I got a guy. Not unlike my dad. Like when I go home and I'm like, oh, like the house needs this. Oh, I got a guy for that. Or oh, I need this. Oh, I got a guy for that. You know, you have somebody that can hook you up as based on like the Good People Society.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's dope. I'm in love with it. Like this is my first time like touring to the East Coast, even just going to the East Coast. I've never been except for flying to DC on a school trip when I was in 8th grade.
Oh, well, there is so much to do. And next time On Hiatus come through, I can show you a great time, because I feel a responsibility as like a local and New York City band when we play with touring bands to like really roll out the red carpet a little bit, because I love living here so much. I really feel a responsibility to show people the best time.
Oh, dude, and it was beautiful, and it was amazing. I can't hate it, though. I wasn't a fan of driving a big ass van through the mountains. That wasn't fun. Thank God it wasn't the Rockies. But right. Oh man, that was a rough drive.
Oh, I can imagine, and especially like navigating the big van through like the super tight parallel parked cars of my neighborhood in Queens. I can imagine that being a little stressful.
Oh man, I was so thankful I wasn't driving. I was so thankful that was Jared driving. I'm like, dude, don't put me on the road. Don't make me the driver through New York, man. I could do it, but I don't want to.
and Jared's nice enough to go, I gotcha.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, it's our population of our metro is 1 million people. Like, we are to go through our downtown north to south is 5 minutes, 3 stoplights. Like, wow. we're tiny. So going to these big cities is honestly jarring at times, because you're like, my God, people do live like this, and it's cool. It really is cool.
Oh, yeah. Like I get that question a lot, where people are like, I don't know how you do this every day. And I'm from, and similarly, and I want to talk about Des Moines as well. I grew up in Maryland, like rural Southern Maryland, like about an hour south of DC, like where now it's where all the lobbyists would like get their second home for like when they want to get away.
Of course.
For a little while. But I found out, and this is a joke I've been doing in my stand-up recently, is I found out where I'm from is technically called a census designated place. Like I'm not even from a town or a hamlet. I'm from a...
Interesting.
Yeah. And what I've been saying is I'm just from a big enough cluster of people who built houses in the woods that the government's like, we should keep an eye on that.
Okay. Yeah, we got a good few of those here, but I guess they get away with being called towns.
Oh yeah. Well, so I want to I want to guess. I want you to tell me how close I am. So I'm trying to picture the Des Moines, Iowa downtown. So I'm guessing most people don't live in the downtown area. They live like in the surrounding parts of the city.
Yeah, ish.
And the downtown, I'm guessing is it one of those like old brick building kind of downtowns where they've opened up like cute like candy shops and restaurants in former like places of industry?
We do have a section that does have all that. But we actually do have some skyscrapers. We have like 3.
Threes? Oh, what are the 3 skyscrapers? Are they like office buildings or?
Yeah. One of them is, I really don't know exactly what it is. The biggest one is just called 801 Grand. It has a restaurant. There's people that live there. There's also businesses in it. It's just a culmination of stuff that they put in a skyscraper.
It's city condensed all in one spot.
Oh yeah. And we have, where our downtown is also so small that we have interconnecting skywalkways.
Oh, so you can just you don't have to go all the way down and then back up. You can just go in between.
Yeah. So like if you could probably walk the entirety of the skywalk in about like an hour and a half and get through every major building.
This kind of tracks. This tracks. My wife has spent some time in Cedar Rapids for work, and she very similarly like, can you find me like I get tasked with like, can you find me like a cool restaurant? I'm like 40 minutes in, I'm like, oh well, I've got this kind of vaguely Asian restaurant. And I got this, and then I have this like $18 burger place. So which one?
Yeah, well, and I think Cedar Rapids is bigger than Des Moines, if I remember right.
Oh, is it?
I think, don't quote me on that, but I think it is.
Okay.
Maybe.
And so now I want to ask you like, and this can be to like when you were younger or like your experience in On Hiatus. So I'm curious what your exposure to the music, what is the music scene, your experience of it in Des Moines? Because my knowledge of Iowa music is your band, Slipknot, and this random rap song I found about Iowa that is unironically one of my favorite rap songs. It slams.
I might know it. I don't know the name, but I've probably heard it, and it probably is exactly how Iowa is.
It's the one that the chorus goes, I'm from Iowa, yeah. I'm from Iowa, yeah. It's that small place, the big carts. So that one. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I recognize it. That's fucking hilarious. Well, if you want to hear some funny thing, the singer from Fun is actually from Iowa City.
Really?
So if you want to take that, he is. And I think it's Jake Pitts, the guitarist from Black Veil Brides. One of the guitarists, I don't remember which one, is also from Iowa. So that's a weird little thing. Oh, and Owl City is from Iowa.
Oh, so he recorded all of his stuff from Iowa then, like Fireflies.
Yeah, the Fireflies song is actually from like, I think he said it was a lake in Minnesota. in northern Minnesota or southern Minnesota that his family would visit when he was a kid. But I think he's from Ottumwa or I think it's Ottumwa, maybe. But yeah, Owl City's from Iowa, which is a weird call.
Interesting. I never knew that. I know he recorded like in his basement, like at the peak of the MySpace era, but I never knew he was from Iowa. But now that I think about it, I guess it kind of makes sense because Owl City is like very intricate indie pop, and I feel like you would need a lot of time to do all that. And my conception of Iowa is that there's not a ton going on. So
no. For some reason, we got the world or the nation, I think, maybe the world's largest skate park for whatever reason. So we'll take it. And Mike Vallely lives here now too, or is it? I don't know. Is it Vallely or Valley?
I don't know who that is.
Skateboarder. He was in the Tony Hawk games a lot. Okay. He's the current frontman of Black Flag.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he lives here now too, so that's cool.
Okay.
He was like, I came here once and said, this is where I need to stay. And I was like, man, respect to you. I'll take it.
I guess he found maybe he found what he had a list of things he needed in his life personally, financially, maybe Iowa was the place to go.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, he's got a local brewery, I think, if I remember right. He has a local skate shop and skate company too. So it's like he does a lot for our scene. It's actually pretty cool.
That's awesome. Well, this goes into one of my overarching, my doctoral thesis of punk rock is when you have a place with not a lot of like built-in distractions or entertainment, you need a scene. A scene develops because young people or people just in general need some sort of creative outlet. Otherwise, like you just end up with like a bunch of like serial killers and people cheating on each other
and meth heads.
Yes.
Like Iowa.
Yes. And the drugs, like so yes. Many drugs.
Yeah.
So similarly, like art is, I feel like every punk scene is like an ever evolving like art rehab program, like a keep people off drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Like start a band. Of course, I know a lot of musicians use drugs, but you need something to go along with it, I guess.
Oh yeah, we have like a really, I think, healthy re-blossoming of a younger music scene, because I think like between, I would say 2016 to about 2022, it was just rough here. Because COVID hurt everyone, and really put brakes on everything. But it was like, just the lead up to that, it was all of the known locals were calling it quits here, or like breaking up because they couldn't stand each other because they're playing in Iowa, not trying to elevate themselves and getting frustrated and inner fighting. And it's right. Like, yeah, it was that time was rough. It does feel a lot healthier now. And there's the scene is a lot in Iowa, specifically Des Moines, just feels a lot healthier now. And people, camaraderie is insane. I love it.
That's great. So coming out of the pandemic, people, I've always felt like people had like a real sense of, wow, all of this is so much more important to me now. So it sounds like that's the case in the Des Moines scene. So
because we lost two venue. We have one true independent label or venue here. Like, and the other one is one of those establishments that are really good. It's an amazing venue, but they're like, you have to pay us to use the stage rather than like, let's work out a deal at the door. So it's like, we really only have just one venue here that'll accept locals and touring underground acts like we are. And it's rough.
That's rough. What's this place called? Let's
Lefties.
Lefties. Awesome. Well, I'm
amazing music venue. I love it.
That's awesome. That I'm really glad you have something like that. So this other place, which again, anybody listening, if any promoter offers you that scenario, don't do it. It's a trap.
I mean, I think truly, like, because I have a few friends that have played there and work out deals and everything, and I think it's more of when we're trying to work with them, like Jared specifically, I think they're nervous because how we work is that 80-20 split at doors. Sorry, I'm behind the curtain.
No, it's all good. I love talking about this stuff.
But I think they're skeptical of how he works. So they're like, well, we need to make sure, because as punk is, it's shoddy. You don't know how a Tuesday night's going to go. So
sure.
why would they want to lose money over that? So it makes sense. But the venue's really not that bad. It's super clean, and the sound is amazing. It's just that one little thing. It's like hard to get in there, or it's hard to justify it when you don't even know if you're going to have to pay out of your own pocket to just play locally.
Sure. I would hope in a place like this, and I have no idea how this place operates, but I always assume like there's always the one place where like every like big national headliner would come through when they were playing a town. I would hope that a cool venue would have like their ear to the ground of like who's making noise locally, so that could help out the show, that could elevate the local band, gives them notoriety.
They do that. They do that.
Okay, good.
They do. So they'll like have a big, larger act, and they'll have one local act because they're like, we don't like doing more than a 3-band show, and you're like, you could go 4, it's fine, but they're like, let's do the 2 touring acts and then a local opener. Boom. And they get paid. They always get paid. So like that's why it's like a weird thing of I kind of want to be mad at them, but they do actually do good.
I know it comes. I scratch my head about a lot of that stuff too. And what I always come back to, and this is like late 30s Will with a lot of wisdom and perspective. And like a lot of like those like growth mindset kind of courses that you end up taking sometimes at your job.
Yeah.
I redouble on, okay, if I can, to get that, I need more people listening to my band. To do that, I need more people buying tickets to see my band. So that's what I need to have happen. And that's what I keep focusing on. That's why I'm sure I'm blowing up your timeline with funny videos.
I love it.
Promoting Skip Lag's only song right now.
And it's amazing. I just showed my friends last night, and they were like, oh my God, these guys are really good. And I was like, dude, I know. When I watched them, I was like losing my mind because Skip Lag is amazing.
Well, I felt the same way watching you guys. I was like right up front and center. I wanted to get some video for Instagram, but I was like, On Hiatus, and I want to talk about like the formation of the band and your personal history a little bit. There's a certain sort of like heaviness, I call it like a thick winter coat, like meat on the bones sort of quality to Midwest punk rock. And I think of like bands like Banner Pilot. There's a certain kind of like heaviness to Midwest punk than compared to like stuff that comes from the coast that I really like. So I think On Hiatus have that as well. So I was really vibing with your set.
Well, thank you.
Of course.
Truthfully, it was more of like I would love to be like a softer, poppier guy, but it also helps you fit in here because there's so many heavy bands. So it's like, well, here comes this pop punk band. So let's get a little bit down and heavier so we can hang with the locals when there's no other punk bands on the bill. So it's kind of just like a culmination of just, this is what's around us, because like butt rock is absolutely heavy here.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
It's absolutely insanely heavy here. Like you will get 10 butt rock bands before you even get like a deathcore band or even a metalcore band. Because man, it's like they come out of the woodwork, I tell you.
that sort of confirms some thoughts I had so in this area, those bands would be like on Long Island. The ones that all wear leather jackets, tuned down to C sharp, and do 0-3-5 bounce riffs, and then like one word titles like Disciple.
I was in a band that did that. They're called Agony of Defeat. They're really good. It's rap metal. And dude, it sounds like Limp Bizkit without the joke. Like it's
just
and I'm not
sincere.
Oh yeah, I'm not dissing because I actually do like the music and they're really good. It's like it's actually really good. But like it's butt rock to the T, and I love it. I eat that up.
Oh, dude, that's all. I grew up on all that stuff. I would love to ask you this too. So like I was in high school. My high school years, I'll show my age here a little bit, were 2000 to 2004. So I was like growing into like my own musical tastes at like the peak of butt rock and new metal. So I was like listening to Blink and Green Day, and then I was really into like Stained and who else? I would just go to like Target and look at the like $8 end cap and buy like whatever random Primer 55, Darwin's Waiting Room, any kind of random if new metal looking CD. I'd be like, oh, I'll take a chance on this, Korn, like stuff like that. But my dad and I always kind of connected on Stained. That was a band we could both get behind.
I'm unapologetically a Stained fan. I don't care. They're good. It's been a while. It's a good song. It's a fun, catchy song.
It's a really catchy song. Like that is an absolute jam. And I have a soft spot for candles in music videos. If you're
same.
I love that. My favorite candle music video is, do you remember the 80s metal band Wasp?
Yeah, I do.
Their ballad is this, like, they're playing in like a church with a ton of candles. And I'm like, this is the same band that wrote Fuck Like a Beast?
Oh, yeah. I remember when my mother showed me Cinderella for the first time.
Oh, nice. Nice.
That was insane. I was like, that's coming from that guy? I still, every time Cinderella comes on, I can't not laugh because it's like, man, that's a crazy voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, those bands, like the 80s metal scene had some like incredible vocalists and incredible songwriters and guitarists. Like they're kind of viewed as goofy now, but those songs all like stick in your head after you listen to them.
Yeah, you'll listen to it once and be like, "Oh, wow, that hook is still there."
Mm-hmm. So when you were growing up, was it mostly like rock music in your house? Is that what your folks were exposing you to?
Yeah, mostly. There's like 2 rock radio stations in Iowa that are prominent. There's Laser 103.3, everything that rocks, and that plays nothing but butt rock, 80s hair metal, and maybe a dabble of pop punk. But it's only Green Day and The Offspring. So what do you expect?
Of course.
Or another one which was just oldies, and they would play everything that's 30 years old or older. And now it hurts because I'm listening to Green Day on it and Blink, and it bugs me. But
me too. Foo Fighters are dad rock now. I can't handle it.
You know what? I'll be honest. I thought Foo Fighters were dad rock when I was in high school. So, but I'm not hating. I like the Foo Fighters.
Oh yeah, no, this is all love and appreciation. This is more a commentary on the nature of time, because I feel like the millennials are just now starting to have this feeling where all of their favorite stuff is considered old by younger people, and I don't know if everyone handles it as gracefully.
Yeah, I feel weird about it too, because like I am a Gen Z, but I'm 97, so I'm like the first Gen Z, so I have that millennial experience, and I get it, and I'm like getting those, oh my God, that really is 30 years old. Oh no, what do you mean this is outdated? Oh, it's hurting, and I'm like, I'm a Gen Z. Stop this. Stop hurting me.
When did Third Eye Blind not become relevant anymore? Oh no!
Right? I remember when Third Eye Blind was at the APMAs. Remember those? And they were playing, and I was like, "Why is Third Eye Blind playing this?"
Right. Or you start having that thing where like you look at a festival lineup, like, I don't know, Ride Fest or insert whatever big festival here.
Yeah.
And like your favorite bands are like suddenly like lower down and in smaller font. And you're like, don't recognize the big names at the top of the list unless it's when you were young.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah. I love 2010s pop punk, so whenever I just see any of their names on a flyer, I'm like, oh yes, give them the recognition, please.
I know.
Knuckle Puck has been around for almost 15 years. Let them have something.
I know. So 2010s pop punk. Is that the stuff that like made you interested in playing music? What was there a particular band that made you want to play? Like play bass or
all of them. I fell in love with bass because I saw Mark Hoppus and went, that dude's cool. I just want to be like Mark Hoppus. And then I saw Pete Wentz, and went, nah, that's cool too. And then obviously Mike Dirnt was good. Green Day, you can't disqualify Green Day. So it was, I think what made me want to do music was the late 90s, early 2000s pop punk, but 2010s just stole my heart because, you know, I was in high school from 2012 to 2016. It was like the prime for the Tumblr pop punk bands.
Oh, exactly. If I was your age, I would have been the same way. So I here's how I'm drawing the connections here, Tom. So like I feel like my high school years were like the prime time for that early 2000s summertime TRL. Let's jump up and down and have a good time with our friends era of pop punk.
Yeah.
And then in 2010s, we got a little angsty, we started thinking about the world and our feelings a little bit. And then we had our, your Man Overboards, the story so far, neck deep. Basically and then similarly, like talking about oh, this scene is progressing. All of my new favorite bands started being named after songs from my old favorite bands. Yeah.
Like that's like Story So Far is from Newfound Glory. How amazing.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I remember seeing them open for Newfound Glory. That's
cool. I've never seen them.
Oh, they were great. That was a great show. It was the 10-year anniversary of Sticks and Stones. And then I told Cyrus at the 20th anniversary of Sticks and Stones how I remembered how fun that show was.
That's cool. I remember one of my favorite memories is getting to see Seaway in a basement in Ames. Like, that's insane. To just 20 people. Thinking about this Canadian band from Vancouver in this college town with, I think, like 100,000 people playing in a basement. Absolutely crazy.
That's super. That's really, really awesome. These are just like, I feel like rock, like even rock scene, even though like people always talk about like maybe rock's not as like commercially like on the Billboard charts as much as it used to, but I don't hear as many stories about like no one tells cool stories about I haven't heard any cool stories about like seeing like an up and coming R&B singer in the club or like or stuff like I just don't hear it from those scenes anymore. Or like I'm sure there was like early Kenny G fans that were like, man, this guy, this is the shit right here. I'm feeling relaxed as hell right now. Would be fun. I'm gonna go to that merch table. I need to hear this. I need this saxophone in my life.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I need to buy all of that guy's music. That saxophone playing, it really got me going. I need to go do some coke in the bathroom.
It's like, who's ready to relax? Let's get mellow in here.
Oh my god.
So like, and excellent bass guitar heroes. So was bass your first instrument? Was that what you were really?
I mean, technically, yeah. I played guitar in like elementary school. Hated it because it hurt, and I was a crybaby. Sure. And so I went, those are bigger those are bigger strings. I like that, and I could use one finger. And then I just got better at it and went, oh, maybe I should join a band, and found On Hiatus one day.
So On Hiatus On Hiatus is your first band you've been in?
Technically, yes.
Like first
There's
real
a small technicality, but yes, it is.
That's very cool. And how long has On Hiatus been together?
7 years. I think 7.
Awesome.
Yeah, it might be 8. 2017 was when we formed. The day after my birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. So 2017, great time to start a punk band based on the tone of the country at the time.
Absolutely perfect time.
So, and I wanted to ask you, because I love talking about songwriting. It's like one of my favorite things that I do musically. Like, you know how certain musicians like really gravitate to technical virtuosity.
Yeah.
That's never been me. I only want to learn stuff in the service of being able to write trying to write a song that people will like.
Agree.
So I'm curious, and this could be more to you or to the band, but generally, like, how do you approach the songwriting process? What usually like is the initial spark of a song for you?
Oh, I just kind of get bored and kind of noodle. And then I listen to what I think sounds good. Cause I don't know chords. I do now because I'm like, I have to get better to be able to write better songs.
Sure.
But like, I just kind of noodle around till I find a chord progression I enjoy, and then go from there. And just kind of, I write the entire instrumental first, and then I approach the lyrics afterwards to see what just comes out. Because I don't walk in with a precursor idea or like, I want to write about this. I just kind of hum and just let words come out and then write them, and then eventually figure out what am I trying to talk about. And let's clean this up to make it legible so someone understands what I'm talking about.
No, that makes total sense to me, because lots of times if you're like playing around with a piece of music, it has a sound that makes you think of a particular mood, a particular tone or feeling, and that can really be the initial like step that puts you on the path of writing out the lyrics. And I've also, circling back around to the Foo Fighters, one of my favorite songwriting things I do think about a lot is there's this video, he and Kyle Gass from Tenacious D are backstage at some festival, and Dave Grohl's describing like his songwriting process. And I think he's like half joking, but he's like, I think about it like a bumper sticker. And so sometimes I try to think of like, cause I'm sure listened to songs with like lyrics that make you go, holy shit, that's awesome. Or holy shit, I feel that.
Oh yeah.
So I love trying to like think of stuff like that, and then building on the theme of what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah. That's basically my process. It's just, what am I feeling? What does this song want me to say? And that's kind of how it goes. Cause like we don't write necessarily together as much anymore, since this is the new version of On Hiatus. And we need to get better at writing as a band. That's my fault. But we used to write a lot of songs together, but it was mostly one of us would come with a half-baked idea and say, let's see what we can do to make this an enjoyable song, or maybe something we throw in the trash.
Right. I've found that that's really helpful in terms of like collaboration, because I'm sure I've come in lots of times with like a pretty set idea of what a song is going to be, but then like when the rest of the band like starts adding the way they would play it or the way they would sing it, I'm like, oh, that makes it even better. I couldn't have thought of that. So it's as far as like making something like unique to like a group or a collaborative piece of art, I find like getting it like, I don't know, maybe like 70-80% there, and then like filling in that other 20 is really, it's helpful then, just because if you just jam, you just end up being a blues band.
Yes, I've had multiple practices where with other bands where we're just noodling and someone's like, I love that idea, and I'm like, it was really cool. Like, how are we gonna make that into a song? Like, I get it, it was fun, but how? We just played for 30 minutes. What do you want?
Yeah, but let's narrow it down.
I do agree, because like the song One More Day off of our EP, I wrote most of the instrumental and I had a hook, but I couldn't think of a verse at all. So I was like, well, Jared, come on in. Here's what I got. Take your time, figure it out. And he came up with 2 amazing verses for that song. And I was like, well, my chorus sucks now, so I got to do something better. And I came up with what we have now. But like that's the process I love, is when I can be like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Help me. Help me finish. Pass off the project, please.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just fill in that last. Can you fill in that last question for me before we turn this in?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Right on, man. And so so you guys formed in 2017. First full length comes out in 2023. So were you just playing at that that one venue in Des Moines? Did you guys like ever go like do regional stuff before that?
We did some weekend runs as that version. And then we did, I think we played Minneapolis, Omaha, and then we did some small stuff just touring in the local state, playing in other cities just to get it together. And then unfortunately, the other founding member passed away in 2023.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I tried to finish our record so as best I could, and that was when we were stuck in limbo, kind of deciding, does On Hiatus continue or do we stop? And I decided to continue because our drummer just joined right before our guitarist passed away, and he was just so excited. Jared just joined just about 2 days before, and we were all excited to continue, and we just said, you know what, we should just go for it. What do we have to lose? Do we let my best friend's memory go away just because he passed, or should we release a record that he loved and was passionate about, and spread his word? And we decided, screw it, let's go, let's just do it. And I don't really talk about it much or bring it up a lot, because I don't like the idea of bringing people down with the thought of, this is the music of a man who was hurting and committed suicide. Rather, let's embrace the memory of the happiness that he can leave behind, that his words mean something. Like, he would always write songs about moving forward, moving on, and how healthy it is. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it. But his words are still there, and they can still affect someone. And I think that's an amazing thing to have.
100%. I agree completely. And in a sense, I feel like that decision at a absolutely like lowest point I can imagine personally, especially if it's your friend, and I'm so sorry for your loss. That decision to keep going, I think in a way works as a living tribute to your friend,
yes,
and to his
yes,
and to his work, because and similar to your point, what we put out into the world can affect people in ways that we might not even comprehend, especially I think nowadays when you can make music a lot easier than you used to be able to, and it can reach people in ways that it couldn't before. Somebody could hear that and be really like touch. It could move them, and it could like the songs could move that person, and it's a song that's done by like normal people, like with real human emotions, real human struggles. But in that moment, you connected with somebody. And one of my favorite things about art, I think about it with stand up a lot as well, is you helped someone feel a little less alone.
Yeah. Yes. That's truly my goal at the end of the day, is for people to know they're not alone. And while I will say, we will never be the greatest band, the biggest band, but at least we're there for someone who has that itch for the style that we do, or the sound we have. So that's all I've ever wanted. I've never, I don't know where my point was going. But I don't know.
There's joy in making things, even like say best bass, like, or even just going on like a 2-week tour and playing a bunch of different cities. If that's something you've always wanted to do and then you do it, that's a victory.
Yeah, that's what we say to ourselves. It's like, I know we're weekend warriors, but it's amazing. It's fun, and we haven't had any specifically negative things. It's always been amazing. We've been loved everywhere we've went, and it's awesome. I can't wait for the next one.
Same. I know that exact feeling. Like, do you know the band The Starting Line? Are you familiar?
Yeah, I love them. I love them. I love them.
So you know that song that they have from Say It Like You Mean It, that's about loving being in a band and being on tour, the like minute before we play. That to me summarizes it pretty well. It's just counting down to the next show.
The Starting Line, that's really funny though, because like when we started, Matt, our founding guitarist, was like, I want us to sound like a mixture of The Starting Line and like Fall Out Boy and Rise Against. And I'm like, that's a crazy combination, but whatever.
Right. It's like what era of Rise Against? Because like Savior, like Savior's like era Rise Against makes sense. Early Rise Against would be too tough.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said. I was like, which version? Because like they're pretty good, but their early stuff, it's a little shoddy. I don't know if I want to be the shoddy version, man.
I know what you mean. Like, or like sounding like if someone's like, I'm really influenced by Black Flag. Okay, well, I need to know like what version of Black Flag. Are we doing like the like Rise Above, like first 4 years era Nervous Breakdown Black Flag? Are we doing like 6-minute long drone for avant-garde jazz Black Flag, My War Black Flag?
Oh, please don't be My War Black Flag.
You know, I tried to listen to that at college, and in college when I was at the peak of my listening to challenging music abilities, and I still couldn't do it.
You know what? I did the same thing where I was like, Black Flag is the band you have to listen to. I'm going to do it. I made it for the first 3 records, and then it got to Family Matters or Family Man. I couldn't do it. I was like, why is the first half of this record just poetry? And then the second half is instrumental. I'm going to lose my mind.
I think that was them like purposely trying to alienate the audience and succeeding.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I do love Henry Rollins because I remember him talking about exactly that stuff, and he was like, "Come on, Greg, our audience wants a sound. Can we give them a sound?" He's like, "No, we can't. I want to do what I want." It's like, fair enough, but man.
Yeah. Well, man, that's a sign of of being an artist and following your artistic voice.
It's punk.
Oh, so punk. One other quote, and coming back around to the songwriting thing, I saw a video with Tom DeLonge recently where he talks about the way he approaches it is making the art accessible. Like that's part of it for him as well.
Yes.
I thought that was particularly insightful because it is more challenging than I think non-musicians will realize, that what it takes to write a very simple 3 or 4 chord rock song that keeps your attention. It's
and it's also like production, because I like the Misfits. I have friends who absolutely hate the Misfits because they sound like shit to them. And it's like, well, what do you want? It's an underground punk band from the late 70s. What do you expect? You expect something to be like pristine? No, you just gotta enjoy it for what it is. But I do get it, because some people who will hear that and go, "That's just fucking noise. What are you playing?"
Right, exactly. And that they're an example where I think like they have to be a little rough and cheap sounding, because I feel like the Misfits in like with a budget and like Pro Tools, that's not going to be the Misfits we all want to hear. We need we need everything to kind of sound mushed together and a little I think it enhances their aesthetic.
Oh yeah, it makes their sound. That's who they are. Like,
totally.
That's who they are. So yeah.
100%. I wanted to ask you about the recording process for the one more day EP. Was this done in Iowa? Because similarly, I feel like the production on the EP leans more to like the more like a raw punker sound.
Yes, I did it. I mixed everything and recorded everything in my basement.
Oh,
yeah,
punk. Pretty.
Thank you. I think it sounds pretty good for doing it in my basement. It's my second time releasing anything, so I'm a little proud of it.
This is very cool. I did not know that. I think for your second time go around, this is very well done. I'm curious, what did you like? How did you do like? Did you do drums in your basement, like live drums in your basement, or did you use,
technically. So it is an E kit, and so it's DI'd in. But we did have my drummer play all of it straight. We just quantized it, so it just sounded a little bit more on time than it had to be. But we didn't MIDI true MIDI anything. But yeah.
That's awesome. That's very cool. And I think E-drums are perfectly valid way to do it, because Rhode Island was recorded in our old drummer's apartment. So can't do that. You can't mic up a full kit in a house with neighbors and still continue to live there. Like,
yeah, I used to have a townhome, so I had to do the E kit because I couldn't set up a full blown kit. That's not going to fly.
No, absolutely. You got to work within your resources. So the drums sound excellent. Did you have any particular things that you liked for the guitars? Did you use like plugins, or did you use
those are all plugins. They're Bias FX. It's actually an Alkaline Trio plugin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is. And cool. I'm an Alkaline Trio fan. I love them. My favorite band.
Oh yeah, nice.
But because the first record, which I also recorded, so if you want to hear a difference in quality, everything is exactly the same, just different tones on the guitar. But if you want to hear production difference, the first record I did, and then the EP I did as well.
Gotcha.
The The only difference was the first record was more of like a metal tone because Matt wanted a heavier sound.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I want to go more poppy for the second release. So we have a different like styles so people can have a choice. And there is a clear difference. And so I was like, well, Alkaline Trio uses high gain, less mids. We'll just run with them, see how that sounds. And I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I think the guitar tones are excellent. I especially love the tone on that main riff of the match that lit the house on fire. That was a very nice. That the tone complements that riff perfectly, I think.
Thank you. I wrote that riff in 2020 and then realized later in my life that it sounded close to I Stand Alone by Godsmack, and I've never been more upset in my life. The only difference is the movement of the hands, and I hate it. I hate when someone told me that. They're like, hey, bro, did you just steal from Godsmack? It's like, stop. Don't ever say that to me again.
Oh, my God. I feel like that, oh, my God, the Godsmack pop punk mashup, I fear it. I fear it, but I feel like radio would love it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't. I mean, I guess I did it, but not. To be honest, I did it okay.
To be honest, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that listening to it. I will listen to it again and see if maybe I haven't listened to I Stand Alone for a while. I've always been more of a voodoo kind of person when it comes to Godsmack.
Hey, it's both good songs.
Yeah. Well,
but it sounds so similar because I think the Godsmack one doesn't move. I think it stays. I think the same fucking notes, and mine moves. So Godsmack, don't sue me.
I think I think you'll be good.
They'll never hear.
And so this came out this year, and you do this tour. Do you guys plan on touring for the EP more, like in a different direction? Because you guys are kind of in the middle of the country, so you can kind of go any way.
So where that EP was technically not going to be an EP, we were just going to drop a single, but we did get that song The Match done faster than expected. So we were like, screw it, let's just drop a whole EP. And it's supposed to lead up to a record next year that we're going to drop.
Oh, okay. So you guys are doing another full length.
Yeah. I'm a full length guy. I love EPs, and I do know that like they're an easy listen, but God, you just can't get past a good full length.
I agree.
But yes, we will next year tour again. I think we're probably going to go west, but I would love to do 2 tours, one west and one east, so we can keep it digestible for the guys.
Sure.
But I hope so. I hope there's more tours.
Oh, absolutely. I think there will be, because like, again, I can feel like the passion for what you do. Like even when I saw you, when we played together, and then also like the last hour we've been talking to you. And again, given the circumstances out of which the band is continuing, I feel like I could feel your heart, if that makes any sense.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that, because I fucking love this band. I love On Hiatus so much. I don't know what I would do without it. I'd be some gooner in my parents' basement. Be an incel probably, because my band didn't get famous because I couldn't handle it.
That's why you gotta that's why you gotta keep nurturing the scene, keep the positivity going.
Oh yeah, dude. There are so many good bands coming out of Iowa right now. It's just amazing to see it.
Oh, like, awesome. Who's some other cool ones?
I would. Funny enough, I actually wrote a list about this earlier.
Fantastic.
I actually did, because I was like, if I get the chance, I'd love to talk about some of these bands.
Awesome.
Eugene Levy is an amazing band. They're currently opening up for Handguns.
Cool.
In Muscatine, Iowa. And they're also playing with, I can't remember his name. He's one of the actors from American Pie. He has a touring band. Thomas something, I can't remember his last name.
Oh, I think I know the guy that you're talking about. Is
he has the amazing smile? He's the one with the good smile.
I think so. I think he's the one who's dating Tara Reid in the first one. The tornado guy. He has a band. I didn't know that.
He has a band. I think it's Nichols, Thomas Nichols band. Maybe, I think. But he has a band. They're playing together, so that's cool. It's nice to see the band Eugene Levy playing with an American Pie associate. Like, that's dope.
That's awesome. That's dope as hell.
Another one I really recommend is Switchblade Saturdays. They're one of the reasons I actually play music now, because I saw them in 2017 in early May. They opened up for this Canadian band called Courage My Love. They go by a new name.
My Love.
Courage My Love is an amazing band. They changed their name, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But they opened for them, and I was like, this is a local band? Oh my God. I want to be like that. Holy shit. They're really good. They're really good. I recommend. Yeah, they're really good. They don't have too many songs on Spotify, but they're catchy for what they are. Fantastic. I love it.
I'm saving them. I'm saving them now because I want to check out maybe add some of the Des Moines scene to the Skip Light and Friends playlist.
Oh, Switchblade Saturdays is dope. TV Cop is another one. They're actually from like Ottumwa, Iowa, a smaller town, but they're like, I say they're like digestible alternative rock, because it's not like, they're not pop punk and they're not punk, but they just teetered that line, and it just sounds so good. And they have like a really good guitar and bass tone together. It's tight. They're so tight. Another one's More Cheese. Love them. Amazing band. That's Jared's other band with his wife. He plays the drums. She sings. It's amazing. It's like the most anti-establishment punk centered around cheese puns.
Fantastic. This interests me already.
Oh, dude, amazing. We have the weirdest scene, and it's crazy.
Oh my God, we're gonna have to get out there. Skip Light will have to get out there at some point. We'll have to make a special trip and find some towns along the way.
And then I got one more. I'm gonna say Saving Sidon. They're metalcore, but they're really good, and they're young kids. So I hope they do something good.
Awesome. Well, I love the sound of the scene. I've got a bunch of friends that I knew in New York who are originally from Des Moines who are back now. So there's a lot of cool people in this city. I'm so excited that there's a fertile, energized scene happening where you're at, Tom. And send some of these bands. If these bands come to East Coast, send them our way. We'd love to meet up with them and play.
I will. I tell all the locals here in Des Moines that I'm like, if you want anything, ask me. I will get you the connection you need. If you want to play somewhere, tell me and I'll find it. Because, like, dude, I want to see these Des Moines bands do something and play some dope shows, go on some tours, and experience some cool shit. Because, like, it's awesome. It's awesome being on the road, and you meet amazing people like yourself. It's
Thank you.
Just awesome. I can't say it enough. Like, how much I appreciate, one, that you let me onto this podcast, and two, that you also love and support my music. Because it's insane to me. We're two strangers from completely different parts of the country, and we're like, hell yeah. Like, that's awesome. I wish more of the Des Moines bands would do it so they can experience the love that there is.
Oh, there's so much love, especially those Knuckle Down Records guys. I love all of those dudes. They are so awesome. They're doing such cool things for like when bands come through. And that's what I love about music, is that you can bring people from very different lives and experiences and provide this connection. Similarly, I'll tell you, like, I'm going to try to tell the story in a way that doesn't make me sound like super bougie. But I was, a few years ago, I was in India and I was wearing a Blink-182 shirt, and
nice.
somebody at the place I was staying at stopped me and said, "That's a really cool shirt. I love that band. They're great." And I was like, "They are. Do you know they have a new album?" He was like, "No." I was like, "This is what it is. It's called California." And he was like, "Oh, awesome. I'll go and listen to it." This is a few years ago. So that was the new album at the time.
Okay. California was amazing. I'll say it.
I really liked it. To me, and I wanted to ask you your thoughts. If Alkaline Trio are your favorite band, I was curious what you thought of the Skiba era of Blink, because California, I think, and I'm very happy that Tom is back. Tom is a musical hero of mine.
I do agree. I am also happy Tom's back.
But I really enjoyed the Skiba albums too. I thought California was a very fun, upbeat rock album, and they hadn't had one of those in a while.
No, they didn't. I thought it was an amazing record. I mean, some of it hasn't aged well, and I'll be the first to admit it. Like, Teenage Satellites is a little rough. Mm-hmm. San Diego, it's a little rough to listen to now. And Home is where the heart, or wait.
Home is such a lonely place.
Home is such a lonely place. I like it, but it's also like, I'm overhearing it now. It's whatever. But I love the record. Both versions, the deluxe and the original. Amazing. Yeah. But a hot take, I did like 9. I thought it was a good record.
9 has some deep cuts on it that I don't think the greater Blink fan base truly appreciates.
No, and I do agree the singles sucked. Those are terrible singles.
Oh yeah, what were the singles off of?
Blame It on My Youth was terrible. That was not a good first single. I mean, you could have done it like 5th, but first single is a little crazy.
I would have done. Let's see, what singles would I would have
done? Ransom, or like even Dark Side, like you said. That should have been like the first release.
Dark Side would have been a good first release. If I was gonna game out like 3 singles to like truly represent 9, I would have started with something upbeat. I might have even done Pin the Grenade. That was kind of,
you know what? Yes,
I like that one.
I love that one.
Pin the Grade was a good one. On Some Emo Shit is just fun. Is just very funny to me.
Agree.
But then this would probably have to be a third single, because this is more of a deeper one. But Hungover You is so underrated.
I love that song.
That's an
amazing song.
That is such a unique stylistic, unique song for Blink. They don't have any other songs that sound like that, really.
Or even No Heart to Speak Of. That's dope, because you actually got a good skiba, a full skiba. Well, almost full skiba, but you know.
Yeah,
I wish he got that second verse. He should have had that second verse. God damn it! I don't care what anyone says. Mark should have sat down. Let Skiba have that second verse.
Yeah, because then his like full Skiba's like full powers can he can power up to 9,000, like go like.
Skiba always has crazy second verses, because the first verse is always digestible, but that second verse he goes off the rails. Let him have it.
Let it go crazy.
Oh, that was a genuinely good record. I think they just did 4 singles, and that's the reason people didn't like it.
I know the deep cuts on that on 9 are much. That's the one I'll go to bat to. The deep cuts.
Oh, absolutely.
I
don't like myself without you. Is that what it is? It's been a minute since I've listened to that record.
It's trying to remember what was it. I Really Wish I Hated You. That was another.
Oh, that's what it was. I Really Wish I Hated You. I thought that one was good. It was mellow and down. And I don't know. I thought it was a cool melancholy song. I don't think it was a good single, but I think it was a good melancholy track.
Yeah, I always thought that was like Blink's take on writing like a modern sounding pop song, because it had like very like warm kind of part pre-choruses and then a little bit more guitar in the chorus. It was very. I think it's honestly, I know not as experimental as the Untitled record was, but similarly, I think they thought outside the box a lot more on 9.
Oh yeah.
Like if California was like the 404 reset for let's have some fun punk rock songs, 9 was like, okay, we can do that. Let's do that. And then see what else we can do.
Totally. I agree. That's exactly what it, and I just think I think they just had 4 singles. They really, they really screwed that with those singles because that could have been amazing. But Tom being back is amazing.
Tom being back is amazing. I'm very
that
happy
One More Time record
it.
was fun. It was perfect. Well, almost perfect. There was a few songs that I was like,
It was the album that I wanted them to make. I can.
I agree.
Similarly to other things, like it feels like them doing everything that they do very, very well, and like just like not and being supportive of each other instead of fighting for the parts, if that makes any sense.
Oh, totally. It really feels like the first true Blink-182 record since I would say probably 2001.
Yeah, I agree. Like the good times are definitely back, and I'm very excited for the deluxe edition as well.
So am I.
One more thing I want to ask you before we get out here. Similarly, I want to ask this about On Hiatus. Where do you see the next EP going, or this full length? You were talking about wanting to be able to do poppier stuff. Are there plans for this on that full length that's coming out?
A little bit, not like super poppy, more of just like keeping it the simple A B C structures, so they're easy listenable. It's more like I want to go for a digestible listen that the average person can get into. That's not going to steer anyone away from like, oh, they're screaming, oh, it's scary sounding. But I want it to just sound more like just brighter, poppier, so it's just more digestible is really what I think I'm going for. Less, I can't say less aggressive lyrics because I love metaphors, but just something that anyone could listen to and not something that's niche.
Gotcha. And I think that's the next step in the evolution of your craft. Like very similarly, I talk about the craft and of writing a song that appeals to is accessible to a lot of ears. I think is an art and a skill on its own.
It's really hard because I'm a hook guy. I love hooks. I just can't get enough of a good hook because like I guess maybe that's my goal. I want to be a good hook writer because choruses like I Don't Want to Heal is I think is one of my favorite choruses, and One More Day. I think they're amazing, just earworms, because like we were on tour with Lamp, and the entire time the drummer would sit there and be humming the One More Day chorus, and then he'd go, "Fuck, I'm singing your shit, dude. Stop being good." And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude.
Well, dude, this EP is great. I had a blast getting to see you guys live. I hope this isn't the only time we play together. So thank you again for being on this. What can we plug?
You can plug the On Hiatus socials. Follow On Hiatus for more releases. We're going to have a music video coming out later in the year, and then full-length album about next year. We have 3 shows left this year, and then we're taking a break to finish the record. All 3 are here locally in Des Moines. So if you want to go and you're here in town, check them out. We'll post them on all our socials. You can always find us there, anywhere that has a social link.
Awesome, and I'll have some links for those in the description. Thank you again, Tom. I really appreciate you doing this.
No, thank you. I really appreciate you.
I dig Tom's energy. I dig Tom's enthusiasm and his passion for music and what he does, and for building up a community in a city where it sounds like there had not been much of a scene for this kind of music in a while. So I was super excited to get to talk to Tom, and had a great time playing with him at this show. So hopefully that's not the only time our two bands share the stage. So guys, thank you again so much for listening to this. On Hiatus's newest EP, One More Day, is available now everywhere you get your music. And if you are in Des Moines, Iowa, check the links to their socials in the description. Sounds like they will have some events coming up in the near future, so you can go out and have a good time for not a huge amount of money, be it like the concerts I've been going to lately. So support your scene, meet cool people. That's how we do things at this level of the DIY scene, music or comedy, which I also still do. Need to do more of. So that's our show for today. If you enjoyed this and think you know a friend who would be interested in this podcast as well, you can send them to awesomedisaster.com. That has links to everything related to me and what I do. You can follow me on Instagram, willcarey23. That is where I'm most active now. And you can follow my band Skiplag NYC on Instagram as well. And you can also check out our single Rhode Island, which is available now everywhere you stream your music. And if you want to go a little bit further in support of me, you can also check out our merch store as well as our Patreon, which is patreon.com/awesomedisaster. Post a lot of things there that I do not post anywhere else. So thank you all again so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day off if you're lucky enough to have the day off. And if you don't, I hope that the end of the day is coming for you soon so you can relax. And I will see you folks next week between Awesome and Disaster. Take care, everybody.